Hello, it's been a couple of weeks since I built this custom frame that I designed, and in that time I've managed to fly a grand total of about 10 batteries, I think. What? 10 batteries? Only 10 batteries in 2 weeks? What's wrong? Well, let me present Exhibit A. Yes, that's a pretty good representation of what a lot of the last 2 weeks here has been like. And the other problem with that is that even when it's not raining, it wets the fields around the house a lot, so I don't really want to fly too much over them in case I crash and dunk one of the motors into the mud like I actually did with this. So after about 3 flights I had already managed to fill one motor with mud. Not completely full, of course, but dunked into the mud. So it already has had a rinsing out of that motor under the tap, and it's had to sit in the hot water cupboard for a day or so and dry off. So it's getting acquainted with life at the iForce 2D farm here, isn't it? Yep, welcome. So I just thought I'd make a little video to explain, or just to give my thoughts on stuff, but when I think about it, there's not really too much that I need to give my thoughts on, because obviously I haven't broken the frame. I haven't really given it a real hard set of crashes. I just did one really big crash on the second battery, but I think that the camera here took most of the impact, so the frame wasn't going to break from that crash anyway. Yeah, there's not too much to say about the frame, really. I think you sometimes hear people say, how does this frame fly, or something, but I think it's a little bit misguided, because the frame is not really what makes it fly. You can obviously have the slightly different layout of weight, like if you put the battery underneath, then maybe you can feel a difference in that. But certainly if you're comparing two frames like this one and that one, which is basically what I've been doing, you're not going to see a big difference there. But what I thought I would comment on is how these motors and ESCs have performed, because as I said when I built this, this is like my cheapy set of stuff, the motors and ESCs. So yeah, that's about all I have really to comment on. And this thing here, I got another one of these mounts for the Xiaomi Yi, well, for the GoPro actually, but you can fit a Xiaomi Yi on there pretty easily. The reason I got another one of those is because I broke it on the very first crash, big crash at least, the one I just said, where the camera took the impact there. It snapped off this little tab. There's a little sort of a tab that stops it from sliding sideways, and that broke off very, very easily. So these 3D printed mounts are not really as tough as they first seemed. Fortunately, it was on this side, because the zip tie here being on this side of the protruding part of the lens means that the camera's not going to slide out that way, and it's not going to slide out that way, so it's still okay to stay in there. I had this, I thought I'd be clever and put one of these things on as a camera lens protector, but that ended up being not such a great idea, because yeah, I'm pretty sure the crash must have come in here like this or something, or like that, because all it did was give a larger area for the leverage of the crash to break off the piece that's supposed to be around the lens. So you can see there's a sort of a missing edge there where the original piece was on. It's stuck inside there now. I can't really get it out very easily. So that was not such a great idea. I've been getting a little bit of jello in the footage, as you'll see, especially when I first stuck this on. I had it back. You can see there's a little gap between the back of the Xiaomi Yi and the base plate of the mount, the vertical part. Before, I had it shoved up directly against there, and I got lots more jello. But what I've done now is I've put that little bit of space in, and it's sitting on some double-sided foam tape that's fairly thick. It's about 2 millimeters thick, and that seems to have reduced the jello reasonably well, but it still gives a little bit of jello, and you can see it's a little bit loose. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. So yeah, the jello is a bit of a nuisance, and I found that with this one I wasn't getting much jello at all, so I'm not Not really sure why that was, but it's a different sort of mount, so I guess that probably has something to do with it. But even when I had the camera hard mounted, like pushed right back against into the corner there, I did not get much jello from this one. So yeah, nothing's really broken. And as far as these motors and ESCs go, they work just fine. So I'm really, really happy about that, and I'll probably be buying some more of them, I think, especially given how cheap they were. And to be honest, I really cannot tell the difference. I have only a couple of times I just switched between these immediately after the other, and I really couldn't tell the difference. Put it this way, you could easily tell. It's much easier to tell the difference between, say, if you change from these props to these props. You can feel the difference when you're flying it. But I could, if you had the same props on, I couldn't tell the difference between this set of motors and ESCs and this set of motors and ESCs. So, like I say, that's a little bit annoying, because when you look at the prices are completely different. These are the ESCs that I have on there. That's 38 for 4, and these are the motors. I think probably most people watching the video already know about these. I got this set, actually I got a set of 4, which was a bit of a dumb thing to do because I ended up with 2 motors that are counterclockwise thread, so I have to use the nuts that came with them, which is really annoying because these nuts are aluminium. They really suck, and the nylon part in the inside there doesn't lock very well either. So if I get these again, I will get them, just one by one and get them all clockwise threaded. So that's $28.45 for 4 motors, like $7 each or something. Now compare that with the stuff on the other quad, which is $18 for 1 motor and $14.80 for 1 SC. So this set of motors and ESCs is costing around about $130 for a set of 4, versus this cheapy set, which is I think $66. I added that to be. So it's exactly half of the cost. So considering that, at least at this point, maybe in the future I'll be able to tell some difference. Maybe these ones will wear down, the bearings will wear quicker or something. It depends how much mud and sand I put through them, I suppose. But at this point I just cannot tell the difference. So that's kind of nice, isn't it? So you can save $66. Where did I pick this up? Oh, of course, yeah, these motors do have the one very, very nice point, is that they have this nut or screw that holds the bell on like that, so you can get the motor bell off and change or oil the bearings and stuff very easily. So that, I guess, is a very nice point. I may buy some more of these in the future simply because of that point, to be honest. But as far as flying performance goes, these are every bit as good, I think, at this point. So yeah, what else did I have to say here? My biggest problem by far has been that this video transmitter that I put in here, it's one of those Earchin pretty cheap ones, like $12 or something like that. TS5840, I think it is. Seems to be a dud, because I'm pretty sure I've had the antenna on every time I've tried it, so I haven't overheated it or anything. And it's just not giving me any good signal. After about 150 meters, I can't see anything at all. And I wasn't aware of that because I got some new goggles recently. Actually, two new types of goggles I've been trying, and I thought maybe it was something to do with them. But then, like I say, when I flew this one side by side to compare them, I realized that it was the video transmitter that was the problem, because I tried swapping these antennas and trying to figure out what the problem was. So I'm going to replace that video transmitter in there, and hopefully that will fix that problem. The camera I've changed. I had the Runcam Owl in there to begin with, and that sucked. It's not a very good camera for FPV, I've found. So what I have in here now is a Runcam Swift, which is way better, and this is really good. I think it's basically the standard PZ0420 sort of camera, which is really, really good. I really like those ones. I'm quite liking the middle location of the plug. That's nice. I did not put a piece of wire on there after all. I was going to extend this on a piece of wire so it would be a little bit flexible, but I think this board, the PCB, is sturdy enough to handle being plugged in and pulled out again, and haven't had any trouble so far. Right, well, I think that's about all I was going to say. So I'll play a little bit of video now. I'll play some video from the maiden flight, just in the backyard, flying line of sight, and then some video from went to Rotorua and flew around the tree trust a little bit there. Unfortunately, the leaves haven't come onto the trees just yet, so there's a lot of ghost branches, and it was pretty tricky to get through without crashing, especially when I couldn't see very well in my goggles. But I managed to get quite a few good flights through there. So yeah, I'll just let you watch that, I suppose. See ya. Oops, that was just me. Doesn't seem like the ESCs are warming up at all. The motors are a bit warm. That one's not. Yeah, it's going pretty well so far.